History is an angel being blown backwards into the future. Paradise is exactly like where you are right now, only much, much better. 90% of the people in the world end up with the wrong person, and that's what makes the jukebox spin. Performance art is about joy, about making something that's so full of kind of a wild joy that you really can't put into words. Art can be engaged in the world without being specifically politically engaged. The problem with prototypes is they don't always work. Literature is the safe and traditional vehicle through which we learn about the world and pass on values from one generation to the next. Books save lives. If I'm confused, I just spend some time looking at the sky and falling into it. It's not a meditation that anyone taught me. It's something I've done my whole life and like doing, and it made me feel like nothing. Don't be afraid of anyone. Imagine your life if you're not afraid of anyone. Life goes by so fast. It's really, and a lot of times things happen so fast you don't know how should I react. All of nature talks to me. If I could just figure out what it's saying. Trees are swinging in the breeze. They're talking to me. Insects are rubbing their legs together. They're all talking. They're talking to me. You know the reason I love the stars is because we can't hurt them. We can't burn them. We can't melt them. We can't make them overflow. We can't flood them or burn them up, so we keep racing for them. People only stutter at the beginning of the word. They're not afraid when they get to the end of the word. There's just regret. Long live the beauty that comes down and through and onto all of us. I have written a few children's books. The first book that I wrote was for children. It was called The Package, and it was a mystery story in pictures. It had no words. It's a little hard to speak when you're not supposed to move. I don't care about being famous or having a lot of people go, "She's really good." And there was a beautiful view, but nobody could see, 'cause everybody on the island was saying, look at me, I see and write things. First as an artist, second as a woman, and third as a New Yorker. All three have built-in perspectives that aren't neutral. The best thing about the term performance artist is that it includes just about everything you might want to do. If there are bases on the moon, that would be the end of the moon as we know it. My job is to make images and leave the decision-making and conclusion drawing to other people. When you follow your thoughts and watch them attach to certain things, it makes certain things real and other things unreal, and you realize that this is all created by your mind. I wanted to impress people because I was kind of a kid who was lost in the crowd. Was sort of my feeling about childhood, was being part of a big family. The audience creates its own personality. I've noticed in the first 5 minutes, they will either be generous, funny, silly, withholding, academic, analytical, grudging, and I'm fascinated with how that gets constructed because it happens right away. It's just such a great miracle when things do work, and they work for such a wild variety of crazy reasons. I wanted to stay hooked because it was the first time I've been part of the tradition where forgetting was just fine. You do it, you try, you forget, you fail. As an artist, I'd choose the thing that's beautiful more than the one that's true. It's good to take a longer view and think, what would I really like to do if I had no limitations whatsoever? I don't take compliments so well. I always hang my head and shuffle and kind of try to immediately forget. Books are the way the dead talk to the living. The right to carry a gun has nothing to do with the rights of other people. That's really a very different experience. You don't have to look to be understood. You're already understood. Dogs don't just like us. They love us, and they admire us. The big reason they admire us is we invented cars. They're like, yes, we get to go somewhere faster, with their head out the window and their ears like, yes, yes. I know a lot of people who have weird specialties that are not taught in schools. They're things that you learn in life. A lot of artists who have a certain style are expected to more or less keep doing their style. It's so easy to get into that rut of production. People are really suffering these days. There's a lot of corporate triumph and a lot of personal despair as they wonder what are they working for. Not many people care what you do. They care about what you do as much as you care about what they do. Think about it just exactly that much. You are not the center of the universe. Laura Phillips Laurie Anderson, born June 5, 1947, born in Glen Ellen, Illinois, the daughter of Mary Louise Rowland and Arthur T. Anderson. She had 7 siblings, and on weekends she studied painting at the Art Institute of Chicago and played with the Chicago Youth Symphony. She graduated from Glenbard West High School. She attended Mills College in California, and after moving to New York in 1966, graduated in 1969 from Barnard College with a B magna cum laude and Phi Beta Kappa, studying art history. In 1972, she obtained an MPhil in sculpture from Columbia University. Anderson is an American avant-garde artist, musician and filmmaker whose work spans performance art, pop music, and multimedia projects. Initially trained in violin and sculpting, Anderson pursued a variety of performance art projects in New York during the 1970s, focusing particularly on language, technology, and visual imagery. She achieved unexpected commercial success when her song "Oh Superman" reached number 2 on the UK singles chart in 1981. Her first performance art piece, a symphony played on automobile horns, was performed in 1969. In 1970, she drew the underground comics Baloney Moccasins, which was published by George DiCaprio. In the early 1970s, she worked as an art instructor, as an art critic for magazines such as Art From, and illustrated children's books, the first of which was titled The Package, a mystery story in pictures alone. Anderson's debut album, Big Science, was released in 1982 and has since been followed by a number of studio and live albums. She starred in and directed the 1986 concert film Home of the Brave. Anderson's creative output has also included theatrical and documentary works, voice acting, art installations, and a CD-ROM. She is a pioneer in electronic music and has invented several musical devices that she has used in her recordings and performance art shows.